So the first thing I want to do as I assemble this card is put together the piece of vellum that I cut out and the honeycomb piece. So I'm just going to flip that over. I have textured paper, so I wanted to put the textured side up, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue along the edges so that I can attach that to the vellum. And I'm not going to worry too much. I might put just a little in the middle, but I'm not going to worry about doing all of it because there's really no need. All right. So I'm going to take, I think that's the shinier side. I'm going to put that one towards the outside. And that looks like it's ready to go. All right, so now I have my card, and I'm going to attach that. I think I'm going to put this part flat. You could raise it up with pop dots, but I'm going to use this piece flat because there's several layers, and I really don't think that I need it. And you can also do it without the vellum if you want. Okay, the next layer is the brown layer, and the only thing you need to check on this is make sure that these two notches are at the bottom, because that's the way I've set it up in the file. So we're just going to match these up on top of each other, like so, and then glue those down. I'm going to go do that, and then we'll go on to the next layer. The next thing I want to do is assemble the little bees, and I'm going to do them both exactly the same. They have this delicate layer on the top, the yellow layer in the middle, and this white layer on the background. And I would recommend that you either use really good quality cardstock for the bees, just because there is a little bit of this delicate line work here, but you could also use vinyl if you wanted to. I'm going to glue those together really quick, and then I'll show you how to place them on the honeycomb. Okay, I have my bees put together, and they are a little tricky, but these small pieces are, but you can do it if you just take your time, and even if it's not perfect, it still looks great. So what I want to do with the big bee is I'm going to put him right about here, kind of angled towards the corner where these two antennae are, like right there on the edge, and this little bee kind of at that angle between these two little honeycombs right here. So, you know, you can put them actually wherever you want to, but this kind of seemed to make the design flow a little better when I put them here, and I don't want to get it too far over here because then my next layer will cover it up. So I'm going to put some pop dots on those, and I'll put them on where you can see it, and then we'll go on to the next step. A great trick I learned recently was when I use my pop dots, and I'm not sure why I never thought of this before, but you just put like a little dot of glue on the pop dot, and that will give you a little extra time to put the object wherever you want and it not stick immediately like it would if you did just a straight pop dot. So I'm gonna put that big bee right about there with his antenna, and I do have a little wiggle room there, and so make sure that he's facing about like that. And then the smaller one, put my little dots of glue, and he's gonna go right about, oops, right about there. And see, there's a little bit of room for you to wiggle so that that doesn't stick immediately. Great, I love it. All right, so that's gonna go on this layer, just like that. And I'm gonna use pop dots for that and put that on, and then I'll come back and show you the last layer. That one's gonna take a minute. We've got several pieces to put together. So this is what our card should look like so far, and I'm thinking it's looking really great. I'm going to go on to the next part, and I'm gonna show you how I put together some of the pieces before I put them on the actual layer for that top layer. Okay, I've glued all my small pieces together, and a lot of times what I'll do is as I cut these out, I will glue the little pieces, especially if it's something just like a center on a flower, or these are the 2 layers of the strawberry, just so that I don't lose the pieces, because sometimes I may not have time to put it together and I'll just throw it all in a baggie, but if they're glued together like this, then I don't have to worry about losing those little tiny pieces. Also on this little Be Yourself part, the little banner, I actually put some distress ink on that. And, you know, that's one of the ways that you can add some character or a little unique touches to your card as you make it. And I also made this so that if you don't want to say Be Yourself, you could print out your own or cut out your own phrase and put it on the banner. So let's get to it, and I'm going to move these out of the way, and I'm going to take my next layer and I'm going to glue these green pieces down onto that top layer, because I'm going to put pop dots on the back when I'm finished. So I'll do that, and I'll come back and show you where to place the other elements. All right, I have my green pieces laid out and glued down. And if you'll notice, on most of my Shadowbox cards, I will do this little faint outline so that it doesn't detract from the card, but it makes it super easy to know where everything goes. So the next thing I'm going to do is put the large flower, and I'm just going to double check that it's going to line up correctly, because sometimes these flowers are off just a teeny bit. See, that fits a little better. And I'm going to, and it's just that I like to do my designs where they don't look too perfect, because I think it gives it a little bit better look, a little more handmade look. And on the flowers, I like to get that center glued down. Oops, there's moving around a little. And I like to take the petals and just kind of take my tweezers or my fingers. Ooh, it is really slippery. Maybe put a little too much glue. I might need to let that dry a bit. You can, obviously do it flat, but I kind of like to lift them up a little bit just to give them a little extra dimension. There we go. It's not slipping too much now. So that looks really cute. And then I'm going to do my strawberries first. Do the big strawberry, and I don't put a whole lot of glue just because it doesn't really need it, but there we go. That one goes there. And then I've got the medium size. And that's going to go here. Let's try to line it up a little bit. And then the tiny strawberry goes here. Press down good. All right, then I'm going to start with my little flower, just a little dot in the middle. Let that dry. I'm going to let it dry a minute this time before I try to bend up the leaves, so I can see what's going on and it doesn't wiggle around. And then this is going to go here. Ooh, that one's really wiggly. And then this other smallish flower is going to go here. I'm going to let those sit for just a minute before I turn up the leaves. And while I wait, I'm going to just place this over this top, or put this on the top and just kind of see how it looks. And I'm going to go put my pop dots on so that I can raise this layer up, and I'm going to put some on behind the strawberries too to help them raise up and stay up so they're not looking a little droopy. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I have that top layer glued down now, and I'm just going to take my tweezers again and just kind of bend up these leaves a little bit, and or you can, you know, you can do this kind of thing with your fingers, kind of give it a little curve to it. Oops, a little too much on that one. But just kind of give it that little, and maybe a little curl like that where it's bent up and out. Just to make it pop up a little bit. These are tiny, so I'm gonna use my tweezers for that one. Hopefully I didn't spread the glue too far. I like to bend them up a little farther than I would normally and then push them back down. Oops. That seems to work fairly well. There we go. That one. I really do like these tweezers that are at an angle. They're not straight across, and it makes it a little easier to get to some of the things and see what you're doing and the way you hold it. Almost done. Well, one of the things you can do as well is, like in the center of these little flowers, if you want a little sparkle, you can add some gel pen or glitter glue or anything like that to, you know, make it your own and make it extra cute and sparkly. I always like a little extra sparkle if I can find a place to do that. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is put this Be Yourself banner on there. And I'm not going to use pop dots on that. I'm going to use just a little bit of glue on the ends. And we will be done. Okay, and that should go kind of at an angle right about there, and maybe up a little bit if you want it that way. And we're finished. That is super cute. All right, I hope you like this video. I hope you got some new tips and tricks from it, possibly. And don't forget to check out my Etsy and my Silhouette Store shop. I've got lots of new things coming all the time. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for being here today.